Well, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I want to go real quick. Okay. Joseph.
Chase.
Joseph.
Chase.
Brad Johnson has a ring. Is he better than Dan Marino?
No.
I
What?
love this argument.
This is a terrible argument.
That's not a terrible. You're making a terrible argument.
No, it's not.
You're like, well, this guy has
Right,
2 rings, so he's better than Peyton Manning. Like,
way
no
out.
way.
Way
No.
out.
They're two different guys. Where does Brad Johnson come in this conversation?
The way you made it sound is like, well, he's got a ring, so.
No, look, they're all great
There we go.
quarterbacks. You know that if you say Brad Johnson, you all would automatically
Brad
know
Johnson had a ring.
chump. He's a chump.
He's a chump. But you're sitting here and you say,
Wait,
oh,
hold on.
well,
This is like the hardest. This is like the most. This is the most like arguable topic in football is who's better, Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, and like it is, and then they call it the Brady or Manning question. That's what they call it, and like you can't really say who's better. In my opinion, I think he's better, but I'm gonna give him the edge because he's got 3 rings. I mean, you have a different opinion, different reasons. They both make sense, but they're both right, which is kind of crazy. That's what makes this argument like almost pointless.
yeah, true. Okay, we'll move into my top 5. At number 5, I have Tony Romo. I have him above Big Ben because I feel that Tony Romo can do more than Big Ben. Yeah, Big Ben has 2 rings, but he's had that team around him to be able to do that, and Tony Romo hasn't had that. I still feel like Tony Romo is a top 5 quarterback, no matter whether or not he's, despite what's happened, the past couple of years. People all like to hate on Tony Romo, but I still feel like he's a top 5 quarterback. Number 4, I have Aaron Rodgers. He's Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, I didn't think that I didn't drink the Aaron Rodgers Kool-Aid
Until he won the Super Bowl.
until he won the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl, and I think I did not think he was a top 5 quarterback until he won the Super Bowl. Then I was like, well, he won the Super Bowl, but he did it in an impressive manner. I'm not saying because he's got a ring. I'm saying it's because Aaron Rodgers was able to take an injury-plagued Green Bay Packers and do something with him. That's why I think he's better than Tony Romo. Drew Brees, he's Drew Brees. Drew Brees, the commercial. Like you said, Joseph, he's probably the most accurate passer, and he's a great leader, and he's an offensive machine if you look at what he's done at his numbers down in New Orleans. Number 2, I have Tom Brady because, Tom Brady has 3 rings. Tom Brady's great, and Tom Brady always has the Patriots in contention. But I feel like number 1, Peyton Manning, is a more. I feel like Peyton Manning is a true 100% bred quarterback. Like he eats and
prototypical quarterback's what you're saying.
Yes, he's a prototypical quarterback. Like he's like in his mind. It's like I think he's like a machine. Basically, he knows things. No quarterback in the league has their coach look at him and go, "Here, I'm going to give you like a list of plays, and you can choose from them out there instead of me telling you what to do." Like that's just Peyton Manning, and because that's what they do. I mean, they give.
Okay, that's kind of you're kind of feeling like the fan base with a little bit of garbage there. It's not. Let's just clear this up. In NFL, these quarterbacks they're not really told plays. They're more told like a formation, and then everything is at the line, and you read the defense.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they give Peyton more freedom to do stuff because he's Peyton Manning.
Maybe. I mean, for all we know, like they all have the exact same freedom. I think like our top 3 guys all like have the exact same freedom inside their.
Maybe they do, but all I know is that he does 100% because I've heard them say it.
Yeah. But I do know that Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees have all like been huge inputs in creating the playbooks for their teams because they've all had.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that they all had that, but I mean, I see what you're saying though. Like,
okay. That's why I think Peyton Manning's number 1. Okay, Tanner?
Who just said Tom Brady's better?
Okay.
My brother, disregard him.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway, number 5. Okay. Mine's Michael Vick, and I'll tell you why. For the amount of success he had as a player, not as in his team, but as a player in Atlanta, and then what happened, the dogfighting, the prison, and then to come back and then just basically do everything he did in Atlanta, except probably even better at passing this year. That just like blew my mind away that he could actually keep his head up and pick up where he left off.
Hold on, Tanner. Let me say something. He was never very successful at Atlanta. He had like one good season, like where they went 14. Everything else was like 7-9, 8-8.
Well, Tanner's talking play wise.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. But and then here's another thing. I think the reason Michael Vick was able to excel so great as a passer is because when everybody came back, everybody figured he couldn't throw anymore. Like he'd been in prison, so all he's gonna do is run. So like you based your whole game plan on Michael Vick's gonna run the ball. Because that's what I personally think is if a guy comes out of prison who is known for running before he went into prison, then you'd think he's going to come out and just run the ball.
So you can't say that they're just going to let go of their guard on Deshaun Jackson or Jeremy Maclin or anyone like that.
Well, another thing is he never had a receiving core like he has at Philadelphia.
I was about to say that.
Like the guys he played with at Atlanta were like chumps. So I mean, for all we know, he's the exact same player, just with better players around him.
Yeah, but Joseph, has Tom Brady ever had a bad receiving core?
Yeah. What? Tanner? Are you serious right now?
I mean, has he ever had as bad as one as Michael Vick had in Atlanta?
Yes. He won
I wouldn't say
three Super Bowls with bad receiving cores.
Anyway. He won 3 Super Bowls with Deion Branch.
Yeah, he won 3 Super Bowls with Deion Branch.
Deion Branch is pretty good.
Yeah, but that's all he had.
That's all he had.
He had another guy. What's his face?
He had Troy Brown, but he was past his prime whenever Tom Brady finally took over.
It's okay. Let's let Tanner keep going.
Okay. Anyways, number 4. Don't jump at me. Drew Brees. Okay, the guy's a gunslinger. I love the way he plays. He's a great quarterback, and he'll go down as one of the greatest, I believe. You know, but yeah, and he does have that Super Bowl. And it was hard for me to put up number 4, but I just did. And my number 3 is Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, Tanner, Drew Brees isn't a gunslinger.
I've seen him sling it downfield plenty.
Brett Favre's a gunslinger. No, gunslinger is like a guy that goes out there and throws the ball all over the place. Yeah, Jay Cutler and Brett Favre. I've seen
Drew Brees do plenty of that. Like
make stupid throws?
No, I've seen him make big plays off of it. But anyways. He's an amazing quarterback. Like Chase said, he's a machine. Or it was you, I don't know. But,
yeah, I did say that.
I thought you said Peyton Manning was a machine.
I said Peyton Manning was a machine. I said the offense at Drew Brees, the offense at New Orleans was a machine because of Drew Brees.
Okay, I got you.
And my number 3 quarterback would have to be Aaron Rodgers, and I put him before Drew Brees because of, like Chase said, for instance, freaking team full of injuries.
But they were all uninjured by the time playoffs came around, though.
But he had them good enough to go there.
That's true. I agree with that part. That makes sense.
And look at it this way: they basically had no running game this year because Ryan Grant got hurt in week 3.
And then, like I said again, it all came back during the playoffs.
No, Ryan Grant never came back.
No, but they did have a run game in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean a decent one. What I'm trying to say is he carried his team through the whole season with just passing, basically. Passing.
Drew Brees won the Super Bowl the exact same way.
On the passing. And plus, I've always seen it in Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I even have proof because this year, I mean, this is kind of irrelevant, but fantasy football, he was my first pick overall.
Okay, hold on. Never put fantasy football, comparisons into, a real-life
thing, Joseph.
Dude.
That's not what I'm not trying to compare it. I'm just saying, what I've seen in Aaron Rodgers.
But hold on. Never put anything fantasy football related when you're talking about real football, because that is completely irrelevant to each other.
I'm just saying. I think Aaron, that was proof that I liked him, that I saw stuff in him before he ever won the Super Bowl. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm not trying to say anything like that, and number 2 for me is going to be Tom Brady. I mean, throwing-wise, I don't think he's any better than Drew Brees success-wise. Yeah, he's the most successful quarterback in the league right now, if you look at his rings. But then my number 1 is Peyton Manning, and that's because Peyton Manning has the skill that he has, but then also he puts on as a coach on the field. Peyton Manning, it's just like he was born to play the game. It's like that's the only thing he knows how to do.